They really cooked with delves. Obviously, we can only play up to tier 3 so far, but the potential of these things is already so exciting. It is. I love delves. I've done a ton of these on Warrior. This is coming from someone who likes to push high keys and Mythic Raid, but I think they're a fine pillar for the in-between. You can finish a delve in about 15 minutes. Doing the highest tiers lets you get heroic raid eye-level gear in the vault. This means even the most blessed dads who have 20 plus kids and 8 jobs will be able to gear themselves competitively by playing WoW 1 hour a week. 3 to 4 delves is a vault slot. That's right. They also have their own closed system of progression with leveling brand, good Torghast powers, varied gameplay and loot. This is so true. This is a very good post. The best part is they're also fun. The low time investment means that if you don't like a delve, it's okay. Hearth, or play an extra 7 minutes and avoid it after. It's a low investment, high return scenario. I also find it the perfect content to play with my more casual friends. Let me move over. I can zone in with them and not sweat my ass off while engaging with the content. Cracking jokes and locking in when it calls for it. For new players, they're even better. Raids are overwhelming for these players, and their required structured time commitment is a massive turnoff for newbies. Mythic Plus is very competitive. People expect you to know shit. And esoteric to an outside perspective, even without mentioning the toxic lower key environment. They also take roughly an hour to gather a group and finish it, which you might not even have time. New players can find a satisfying progression loop to gear competitively while learning the game at their own pace in a solo environment or with 2 friends. It's perfect. Now, it's obviously not something I'll be doing all night, like Mythic Plus, but it's a great addition to the game. Even if you're not interested in them, it's a great piece of content for a lot of people who are enjoying WoW. More people enjoying WoW is a win-win for all of us. For all those people being cynical about delves, and comparing this to launch day Torghast posts, allow me to make an argument why this is different. Torghast was loved in the beta for being a chaotic, roguelike experience. In the beta, people were doing it for fun, not for any other reason. People started hating Torg because on launch, they nuked the difficulty because it was necessary to grind them out, like 9 a week for power. Everyone had to do them. PvPers, Raiders, Mythic Plus crowd, and Blizzard had to make sure everyone could do them. It was a forced chore for many, rather than game mode. That's when it became Torghast. I hated it too. Delves are different in many ways, but fundamentally, their implementation is why I think we will not hate them 6 months in. Delves are not mandatory grinds for borrowed power systems. They can be tuned to be challenging. They're their own self-contained gameplay loop that can be ignored by anyone not interested. I myself will probably do 1 a week if I even do any once the season drops. Most of my enjoyment of the game comes from pushing IO. Meaning people who don't like it will not have to play it or even feel inclined to do them other than for fun. Well, with the implementation of them being what it is, the only way I see them being hated is if they're just buggy or their gameplay design is flawed. Even then, Blizzard has a better track record of listening to their player base since Dragonflight. I have faith that future iterations of delves patch to patch will be even better. Men, I completely agree with this post, and it seems to be a pretty popular post. Because I've had a really good impression of it so far, and I like where it's gonna fit into the itemization, like you gearing up without needing to get a group together, not having to get in a raid team, not having to put yourself in a scary Mythic Plus situation. And I love Mythic Plus, and I want to raid. But even for players like me who are interested in those things, you don't always want to do that. Sometimes you just want to do something chill and not be accountable to anybody. But you still want to get loot. You're a loot, like I'm a loot goblin, and so having this option is excellent. An hour a week and you can get a vault slot. Get your heroic raid gear from the vault. Meaningful content rewards and difficulty wise, and I can play when I want. Yeah, and you can bring a friend in there if you want to. I've done a bunch of these so far, and they've all been really fun. There was only one delve I didn't really like out of all the ones I've tried so far, and it was the one where you can't breathe. It's like underwater. And you have to watch your breath meter. I hated that one. I hate watching my breath meter. That sucked. But maybe you can just get underwater breathing buff and it'll be easier. I don't know if that would work down there. I'll try it on my Warlock and see. But that one was so fucking annoying. The rest of them though, I loved. The real W is that this is completely optional content that can be ignored if it's not your thing. That's it. That's it. That's what makes it so good. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. So it's something fun to choose to do, something you want to do rather than something you have to do. And that was probably the biggest thing that people were saying back in Shadowlands when people were coming to Final Fantasy XIV. Everybody was saying, what I like about FF14 is that it gives me stuff that I want to do that rather than shit that I have to do. That was the big complaints with Shadowlands. And they heard that, and it seems that they took that into account when designing the new content, which I really fucking appreciate. Zeki, thank you for gifting a sub to Dal the Dark. Appreciate you. Zeki, also thank you for subbing. Dorman24, thank you for the 2-month resub. And Zeki, thank you also for gifting the sub. Oh, I just repeated myself, but thank you. Thank you for that. They also teach new people mechanics. A great point. I've been doing the delves, and I of course have DBM installed, and it's been a good way to practice hitting those interrupts.
I'm surprised I'm wanting to play WoW more than FF14 now. Weird timeline.
It is a weird timeline. Freya, thank you for the 8-month resub. Dorman24, thank you for the 5 gift subs. I'm sure many of us are going to be bouncing in between the games going forward. But yeah, Dorman, thank you for the 5 gift subs. I really, really appreciate you doing that. Thank you. Thanks. I died to the breath meter at the last boss. I died to the breath meter like 4 times until I noticed there's a bouncy ball of air you need to get while you're fighting the boss. That was so annoying. So annoying. I hated it. It was a pain. Yeah, the underwater one was the worst. Oh, we met our sub goal. Paul. Let's get a giveaway running. Hold on. Open the dashboard. Okay. Let me think. You can type buns. Type buns in the chat. B-U-N-S. Just put your buns in the chat and then you'll get a chance to win these 60 days of World of Warcraft game time. I will also update our sub goal to 1350. Yeah. 60 days. Wow. Game time giveaway. At what level can you start delves? It is a War Within feature. So it's one of the first things you'll do after you get to the first zone. They'll give you a side quest that'll take you to your first one. So it's like immediately, if you just follow the campaign story, you'll get to it very quick. You'll get to try your first ones straight away. Okay. Also, yeah, delves are what I was most excited about, and they delivered. So far, so good. I'm really looking forward to trying it on the higher difficulties. But I think delves might end up rewarding you for being an altaholic. At least, I hope so, but it kind of feels like that might be the case. Where there's going to be certain delves that are best to do on a certain spec. And all of that credit is going to count for your account, right? And so if you have a lot of choices, you can choose which class is going to do best in that particular scenario. For example, I did a delve the other day, and you saw, it was actually yesterday, you saw me doing it, where it was spider eggs everywhere, and you need to do single target damage so you don't explode all the eggs and have a huge pain in the ass. Now, I'm a survival hunter, and my whole shtick is throwing bombs around and doing massive AoE damage and spinning around with my fucking spear, and so it was a disaster for me. I am like, I'm blowing up every egg. I am running around screaming and flailing the entire time. So I would not choose to go there again as a survival hunter if I could help it. I would go there, I don't know, maybe a more single target focused class for that. Yeah, cries an elemental shaman. I would love if Delves are something that they keep bringing back for future expansions. Like imagine Delves and Quel'Thalas. I think that they will. I hope so, but I don't see why they wouldn't. They're probably going to test the waters to see how players react to it. And if players like it and it goes well overall after then they'll probably proceed.